In a world with many similarities to our own, there lies two planets that are both experiencing societal turmoil. One of them, the planet Remus, there lies a town named Hazel that is on the outskirts of one of the busiest cities on the planet. While society is strained with cultural change, in this town, there are beings that no one has seen and struggle not to be found as time goes on. The following is the story of some of the people who end up finding them through no fault of their own. This is Hazeltown Story.
So, as a sign of additional good faith, Bobby will text Elmas and Ravi for them to bring Sophie with them to the meeting.
To be fair, I don't think Sophie would have let her stay there.
Yeah.
Well, either way, just putting that out there. All right, go ahead, Lolo.
Okay. So you're thinking about 10 p.m. Like, I take it there's not really anyone there.
Just the group and the employees.
Okay. So
Bobby will have them in the table in the back.
Okay.
Is Bobby paying overtime for this?
Yes. He treats his employees well.
Okay.
But also, they're still open at 10. They close at 11.
Okay.
Okay, so it is late at the burger place. It is fairly... I would assume at this point it is fairly quiet. Or is it busy?
That's quiet. It's 10 p.m. People are winding down.
It's 10 p.m. at a burger joint. Yeah, it's winding down.
Okay, so it's pretty much just you three there. At this point before kind of the meeting, like I would say like maybe like 9:40. You three are sitting there because you got there early. You see Ash come in, and Ash is flanked on either side by their two effectively their enforcers, which are if you remember from the last bit of the from that last, like, the very last combat session of, like, the thing with the two snipers when you were in that building.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are paired with that, which I actually have
The twins?
Yes, which actually I kind of sort of, maybe not have a great reference of what they kind of look like, but they're two black tigers.
Bad bitches rolling on through.
Bobby will nod and smile as they approach and says, "Howdy, friends. Would you two mind waiting over at the bar while we do this?
Yeah,
Don't want to spook Drew too much."
Yeah, they effectively were. It was like, yeah, we weren't gonna exactly be sitting near you. We were gonna kind of just observe.
Glad to hear it. And once they've gone, Bobby will point to the trash can sitting in one of the chairs and say, "Ash, meet Sophie. Sophie, meet Ash."
You like, as you kind of see that, Ash kind of looks and I was like, is that the thing for Forbidden Planet?
I guess so. Apparently that's what she picked out.
God, no, we don't have enough money to make the Forbidden Planet design. Oh, God.
I had a side note, just as a bit of thing. Well, you can see Ash kind of comes up to look at Sophie, like, flanked by the two tigers. You notice that the two tigers kind of look at it and just kind of have, like, a weirdly, almost concerned look.
Just confusion about why a trash can is sitting in a chair.
So once you kind of notice that, Ash just kind of goes, like, oh, don't mind them. They kind of, let's just say back home, had some interesting experiences with things like this.
Well, anyway, how does Sophie respond to this introduction?
Sophie just kind of seriously is like, Sophie just kind of sitting there, just kind of keeping to herself.
And nothing else. She doesn't say hi when Bobby does the introduction between the two.
Like, the Sophie would kind of maybe turn towards them, and maybe say like just give a hello, but you don't see Ash react to the hello, but you see the other two behind them react.
Hmm.
Which you hear the one that's the slightly smaller of the two. Kind of was like, I think she said, I'm like, she says hello, and Ash just looks kind of confused and just, and it's like, kind of nods their head.
Well, anyway, Sophie here is one of those, one of the two fairy colonies I was telling you about. She's not the one that's been helping Drew out with, his activities. No, she's the one that got, that got left behind.
I see.
Anyway, he should be, hopefully.
All right.
That's all.
Yeah, and then once that, yeah, the Ash and crew just kind of sit over at a different table. That's like within earshot.
No, Ashkin gets to sit at this table.
Okay. Ash can sit at the table and then kind of motions for the other two. Yeah, the other two go to the bar. So at that point, time passes a little bit, and at 10 o'clock, you see a man enter wearing a rather long, baggy jacket with kind of a hood up. Someone who is really trying to, like, make sure he's not seen, although probably not doing a great job at it.
Well, you're real bad at this lying low thing.
As, like, the person hears that and kind of looks towards you, you see, or the person kind of, like, you can't really see the face that clearly from the hood, but from what you can tell, it does look like that is Drew. Like, you can see from, like, the jaw.
Bobby just smiles and politely waves him over.
You see Drew kind of walk towards you without saying much, or just kind of slowly walks over and kind of is this just like a full table, or is this like a booth or something?
It's a table.
Okay. Takes a seat at the table, and once they're kind of takes the hood down, and you can see that it is, from what you can saw from the picture, it is Drew, and on top of Drew's head is a small robotic mouse. Which Drew proceeds to take off the top of his head and just kind of place on the table.
Friend of yours? Bobby says to Ravia.
Yeah, he fucking tried to tase me.
Interesting design.
Well, Drew just kind of is like, well, Little doesn't like to get touched.
Yeah, how am I supposed to fucking know that? I'm not the one planting fucking invisible goddamn robots everywhere, you piece of shit.
Well, I should say that I did have at least good cause for this.
Yeah, everyone does.
So is the invisibility more a function, is more ability of Little, or is that something you programmed into the hardware?
I should say, before I answer, I should say that, yes. If it's not clear, yes, I am Drew Lowe.
Never would have guessed.
And yes, we saw your personnel file at Infrobo, so yes, we know who you are.
So yes, I have been kind of trying to keep low because I've been, and as you're saying, just kind of looking at the group, and it's like, I've been having some, it's called things I want to take care of, that I've been using my friends to help me with.
Yes, we've seen what you wanted to take care of. You were doxing several city employees on the walls of the Witch's Brew.
That was one of my things, yes.
Noted tasing Orion agents over at the Velvet Rabbit.
That's also another thing, yeah.
And whatever Proof Rock was doing at the dorms.
Let me actually check something real quick.
Sitting around thinking he's cool.
Let me actually, let's see, what is your thing? Oh, right. Well, for the record, Proofrock was mostly staying there, so that wasn't him doing anything. That was more just you happened to find where he was staying.
Yes, I suppose so. But if you don't mind, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
First and foremost, what were you trying to achieve by doxing the city employees at the Witch's Brew?
Well, that one is more. I wanted to see. That one was more something that I had came across that a friend of a friend kind of had mentioned that kind of stumbled across that evidence that basically kind of looked into it that they were kind of the ones that were getting shafted by some of the other artist friends were kind of getting shafted because they happened to find out that certain people were getting preferential treatment. And when you know people that can maybe get info, you find a lot of info. And Charlotte was a little bit of a experiment, so to speak.
I see. And who were you trying to communicate that information to? Because you picked two very random times to be doxing them.
Well, the randomness actually was part of the plan. You see, I just wanted to see if anything would happen from it.
Aw, man, if you're gonna do that, at least you're supposed to do it in multiple places in the city, not just one spot.
Well, I'd rather start with a small scale and then build up. I didn't want to start big, and then I just wanted to see kind of at what point would the ripples really start to build.
I see. And the people getting preferential art treatment, are they associated with Orion?
Absolutely not.
Hmm.
Or at least as far as I know. This was a sort of, in the grand scheme of misjustices, not exactly it was a misjustice, but also not a big one.
Well, quite the
But
miscalculation on your part, I'm afraid, because two of the people you doxed are dead now.
I thought it was
Or at least
one.
one of them's dead. Another one's in the hospital.
Well, you see him kind of react to that, like, oh. I was like, well, that's a bit more than I was expecting. How are they dead?
Well, Molly Sparrow, I'm afraid, took her life. She jumped from her balcony. And Agent Thistle slipped and fell in the shower and cracked his head on the sink.
He kind of pauses, like, well, that doesn't really have anything to do with mine now, does it? And
Well,
Miss
apparently
Sparrow,
they found evidence of Molly, a bunch of evidence on her table of her misdeeds.
I mean, that could have been her kind of chasing her own soul and just kind of maybe guilt got to her.
Well, sure seems that way, doesn't it?
What a stupid thing to commit suicide over.
It's like, I don't know, like those, like, depending upon how they feel, if you are in the council and you kind of get caught doing that, it's not exactly a slap on the wrist.
He's not wrong, Bobby says, turning to Ravi. You've clearly never had to deal with bureaucrats in your time.
I don't get involved in politics.
I do. Trust me when I say it's a messy business. But anyway, next question then. So they weren't Orion agents, but the ones your friend there zapped at the rabbit were.
Yes.
Were you trying to expose them then? Or what was the plan there?
That one was a little bit more calculated, I guess. Those I knew. That one was a little bit more of a calculated attack. Those were effectively to make a scene around them, yes.
Alright. And then what?
Well, that was more of a thing to get them a little spooked.
I see.
You don't have a plan. Okay.
Well, I do have a little bit, and this one is maybe a little bit baby brazen, which is kind of why.
So by
was kinda
brazen, you
trying
mean
to do it
stupid.
I'll admit this is, but I am kind of going with this because this was directly an attack on their own personal morale. This was not meant to expose anyone. Because those two that got attacked were part of the four people that are in Athrobo that are Orion agents.
Are they now? I guess that leads to my follow-up question. Who are the Anthrobo moles who went after you?
Well, they are. Are you asking for names specifically?
Yes. Yes.
Time to pull out the thing again. Oh, let's see. One day I'm just going to break and just pull the names from that one Super Famicom baseball game. I mean, this thing almost gave me River English, which might as well be one. I'm really expecting the name Norman Jaden to show up on this.
Sleeve
Not
McDickle.
familiar.
Heavy Rain,
Ah,
Namen.
right.
Oh, right. The
Get this
FBI
name.
agent.
Yeah,
The Origami Killer.
game sucks so much. Now I'm just thinking about that. How many times you can piss in that game video? I don't want that. You know. Oh, actually, this thing has a actually pretty decent feature. But okay, so what are these names? Let's see. You? Okay, Gunnar Hopper is a very good name. You know what? These. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste this into right here. There. Oops. Paste special values only. There we go. I think. Oh, that didn't work. Whatever. So as you kind of asked this, Drew kind of pulls out a Drew, when he was walking in, was also carrying has a backpack on, and kind of starts to take the backpack off and kind of opens it up and brings out a folder that basically has information on these four. You mostly just see them like it's their Anthrobo kind of personnel file. The four names you see are Josh Webb, Noah Grant, Adam Murray, and Sean Cash, which I will post in here for you.
All right.
At first glance, they look relatively unmarkable. It's just like, okay, it's just roboticist.
All right. Well, that's good to know. All right. Next question. Why didn't you go get help for dealing with these guys?
Well, because first off, I didn't want to get anyone else involved with this. Because the second off, as you kind of mentioned, this plan's been a little haphazard.
No.
Yes, but there were people you could have gone to. I mean, surely you must know about the other groups that are opposing Orion, like Libra, for example.
I didn't really. I knew of them, but I didn't know anyone there. And for the most part, the people there of those four that were kind of keeping an eye out on people who may potentially snitch on them, kinda, if they see you try and go find other resources, they get a little bit hesitant. Or they get a little bit... They don't like that.
But you were already on the run.
I suppose, but I can't... But... Well, and he kind of lists a little up as like, I'm on the run, but there are ways that I can attack while on the run.
If one of those groups offered you to help now, would you accept it?
He kind of sighs to... Kind of for a second, it's like, well, I guess now that I don't really... Kind of looks up and is like, I guess now, looking at you, I don't really have a choice, I suppose, because perhaps this might be something that you might be interested in, which is the ultimate goal of my dealing with these.
Please share it with us.
So here's the thing. And kind of he takes out the file for Adam Murray. So here's the thing that I have kind of overheard. So I've been kind of keeping an eye on these four. Basically kind of going, they've been keeping an eye on me, I keep an eye on them. But I've overheard something interesting in particular about this one. And that's the fact that he's loaded.
Ooh.
How loaded we talking?
Like the fact that for someone who has for someone living on a roboticist's salary, kind of has an interesting taste in, from what I've heard, let's say, things like, say, watches, and kind of things that if you weren't particularly carrying, say, watches, little sort of things of electronics, they can kind of get into the region without, that would be normally prohibitively expensive, so to speak. High-end computer equipment and such. And I happen to hear that he's maybe little bit of working a bit off of a trust fund.
Oh, he's a rich kid.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hate him.
All right. What were you planning to do with this information?
Well, quite frankly, and this is kind of where effectively I was kind of poking around with how to distribute information. The long and short is basically extortion.
Elvis just breaks out laughing. Oh, buddy, you're new to this.
Yes, I'm afraid. I don't know what you think you have on this guy, but I'm going to tell you now, it's not enough.
And
Good effort. Though.
And perhaps I did get a little bit over my head, but you can see why I kind of was a little hesitant to get others involved.
Well, I guess luckily you happened to catch our attention. But circling back to the you accepting aid. At this point, Bobby will turn to Ash and say, I think it's been long enough. Do you want to tell him who you are?
Ash kind of looks and just kind of is like, well, you mentioned you had knowledge of groups like Libra. Well, I am Libra here. And they kind of go over to the thing and just kind of look as like, frankly, if you want to get rid of these people, well, these attacks are cute and all, but if you really want to send a message, you probably should get a professional to do it. Which Drew kind of thinks about it as like, I suppose at this point you're right. But he just kind of paused for a second. Is like, you mentioned that, yes, Orion is one of the things. They're the people that are kind of after me because, kind of came across them with, through just natural work. I should probably, here's the thing is that I can help you out with that, though I do, it's like, yes, like that was one of the things. There are a couple other things, though, that I would be nice to be taken care of, but I don't know if it's exactly your work.
Try us.
Hold on, let me go down my thing. Okay, let me thing. Just trying to go through my list of documents. Well, hold on, I need to look up something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having something written down, but I can't seem to find it. Okay. I was trying because I'm trying to make peace, or not make peace. Trying to piece together something real quick of some of the notes that I had. Okay. Oh, let me. Actually, do two of you want to do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to roll percentage die?
I'll do it.
I'll roll it.
Okay.
Both of us roll.
Yep. I need two percentage rolls. Okay, 65 and 39. Okay.
I was so close.
Not to do it. Okay. After a while, Drew kind of thinks about it is like, well, you see, when it's like, well, part of the thing is that I was kind of going through these kind of small things because there is a concern I had that if these smaller things worked, that'd build up to a bigger one.
I see.
And kind of pointing my thing, since I have kind of been dipping my nose in Orion, I've kind of come across some other things that kind of needed some taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, it actually does kind of sort of had something to do with that art gallery, which is kind of where I picked up that information about the information that I had from Charlotte. But there is something that I don't quite have a lot of information that I can kind of go on to kind of do something about that. Something that I've been kind of wanting to look into, because it's not quite, I suppose if you're familiar for Orion, that you are familiar with, say, or another Orion venture that I'm not super familiar with, that I kind of wanted to dig a little bit more into.
Which is?
So there's a club in the Bay District that, let's call it, I don't know what to call it. Let's see. What's a kitschy, like, computer art gallery? What do you think that'd be a good one called?
Computer art gallery?
Yeah, something like, let me see. Place and location. You know what? Let's call... Oh, that's not gonna work.
I mean, obviously Pixel Perfect.
You know what? That works. Let's call it Pixel Perfect. There is a club called Pixel Perfect. That is kind of an art gallery. It's meant to be a computer art gallery. Now, supposedly, the work there is all being... It's something that... It just recently went up, but I kind of get the sneaking suspicion that also might be an Orion or Orion joint. But I don't really have a good amount of information on it. And I'm thinking possibly that its sponsor is also a Orion agent.
I guess there's only one way to find out.
Guess so.
Yes. I suppose we'll just have to pay them a visit.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I love kicking doors down.
So that could be something that I could use some help with then.
Well, we'll look into it. In the meantime, I would suggest you leave with them. He points at Ash. They'll help you out for a while. And we'll let you know what we find about this club.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, seriously. Was the invisibility thing, was that a design on your own for the function of the chassis, or is that something Little has?
That's something that Little... It's unfortunately part of the magic that I seem to be able to channel out of Little.
Ah, damn, that's... Alright, oh, that's another dead end then. Okay.
Thank goodness.
Good designs, though. Very nice miniaturization.
Thank
Don't
you.
need those fucking drones of yours being any creepier.
It's gonna happen.
Why?
Because I want to experiment.
What is wrong with you?
It is a calling.
Uh-huh.
Previous episodes of Hazeltown Story can be found at BeKindRewind.hazel.town or radio.hazel.town. If you would like to know more about the universe and have an interest in video games, you can watch LoloDePuzlo's Journal, our sister show, that can be found at theater.hazel.town or BeKindRewind.hazel.town. If you would like to keep up to date with Lolo, you can follow them at Co's or BlueSky at LoloDePuzlo. There is also a Discord server in which you can potentially catch episodes being recorded live at club.hazel.town. Thank you for listening to Hazeltown Story. I welcome you to come back for more.